Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel. In this video, we're going to be doing a versus comparison between the Nike Kyrie Infinity and the Harden Volume 6. So as far as the pricing goes, the Kyries are going for 130 bucks and the Hardens are going for 140 bucks. If you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. But let's get it started right away with the Tracciones. So if you're playing on a very clean court, the Harden Volume 6 is probably the better option. The Harden Volume 6 has a very good bite. Actually, a top tier bite. You're gonna be stopping on a dime. Feels like, you know, you're playing with glue. I don't know, whatever, but the traction is super nice in the Harden Volume 6. As far as the Kyrie 8 traction goes, the Kyrie 8 is still super nice. It's just the bite isn't as good and you need to break it in a little bit, you know? So once you do break it in, it does get better. But the Harden Volume 6, I really didn't have to break in at all. Also, the Harden Volume 6 has a nice little squeak to it. The Kyrie 8 doesn't really squeak at all. As far as the performance on dust, I would say it's around even. Dust doesn't really affect the traction all too much for both of these shoes. It's just a pretty easy slight wipe for the Hardens, and same thing with the Kyries. As far as the durability goes, yeah, the Harden feels very good. It feels a lot better actually. So the rubber's super hard and you have a lot more grooves. The Kyrie 8, the grooves are way thinner and a lot softer actually. So for durability, the Hardens are probably the better option. As far as the outsole curvature goes, I mean, the Hardens are actually pretty flat, as you guys can see, like very flat. So you don't really get that type of like motion. The Kyrie 8, you know, it's relatively flat, but then like it still has a little bit of curvature, you know, like comparing it to like the Kyrie 2, 3, and 4, it's not as curved, but it's still a little bit better than the Hardens. So if you like that, obviously the Kyries are probably the better option, but overall traction performance, the Hardens are a little bit better. All right, moving on to the heel to toe transition, I would pretty much tie it up, right? So here in the Hardens, we have a nice curved shape here in the heel. There is a little bit of compression as well, even though we have this caging. And then here in the forefoot, a nice curved shape and a lot of forefoot flex. Just look at that, right? We have a midfoot shank plate, but a lot of forefoot flex. As far as the Kyries go, the Kyries still feel very nice, right? A nice rounded shape here in the heel, fully exposed midsole, and here in the forefoot we have a nice curved shape. As far as the forefoot flex goes, we have a good amount of forefoot flex, but also a good amount of midfoot flex. Look at that. So for torsional support, I mean, if you have like arch problems or like problems with your foot, the Hardens are probably the better option. Of course, I'm kind of like working out my feet a little bit more, you know, wearing like the Vibrams and stuff like that, like the shoes that have no sole, just to work out my feet and the tendons and stuff like that. So I haven't really had any issues with my arch in a while, which is a good thing. So I don't really mind the Kyries, but of course, if you do have those problems, probably stick with the Hardens. All right, as far as the cushioning setup goes, so if you want court feel, both of these shoes are really good, but I would say the Hardens are a little bit lower to the ground just because the forefoot feels a little bit low, right? So the Kyrie 8, surprisingly, although there is a forefoot zoom stroll unit, it still has really good court feel in the forefoot. I don't know how, but yeah, they probably just made it really thin as far as the phylon goes. But yeah, it's still really good, but comparing it, the Hardens are a little bit lower. Of course, that's just like nitpicking at that point. It's just like I really had to, you know, put both shoes on at the same time and I felt it, right? But anyways, as far as the heel cushion goes, obviously the Hardens are way better. So it's full length boost here in the Hardens, and if you look at the strobo board here in the heel, we have some holes, and the holes make the strobo board pretty soft, and you can feel the boost compression right underneath your heel, and it feels very nice. So I really like that, and also like I said, the caging is quite soft, so the midsole does compress a little bit as well. So that feels definitely very nice. Of course, here in the Kyries, we have just a regular phylon, which does not feel very nice. It really has not a whole lot of cushion and not a whole lot of compression, which does suck. I mean, we do have a zoom unit in the heel, but I didn't really feel it all too much. So if you're looking for heel cushion, go with the Hardens. If you're looking for forefoot cushion, go with the Kyries. I mean, the Hardens, although it is full length boost, you don't really feel a whole lot in the forefoot. Of course, the Kyries, you can feel the zoom. It's super crazy, a lot of bounce, a lot of compression, feels super nice. It might be a little too much for some people, but of course, if you're looking for a forefoot cushion, go with the Kyries. As far as impact protection goes, obviously it's the opposite. If you're doing heel strikes, the Hardens are better. If you're landing on your forefoot, which you should probably be doing, the Kyries are a little bit better. So it all depends on what you want. Hardens have better heel cushion and Kyries have better forefoot cushion. All right, moving on to the materials. So as far as softness goes, yeah, the Kyries are a lot softer. Just look at that. Super easily moved. The Hardens, you do need to break it in a little bit and it does get a little bit softer, but look, still a little bit, or actually a good amount stiffer than the Kyrie's. As far as support goes though, the Hardens feel a lot more supportive, especially here in the forefoot, just because, you know, it's a thicker material and it doesn't stretch at all. As far as the midfoot goes, it stays around the same thickness, right? And the same thing here in the Kyrie's. You know, it's pretty damn thin. And then for the tongue, the Hardens are very minimal in padding actually. And then the Kyrie's, of course, have a lot of padding. Crazy padding. It feels very nice and very cozy. And then in the ankle area, it's kind of weird just because the Hardens don't have a lot of padding, but they do have crazy Achilles pillows with very thick, kind of like gel-like padding, right? And then here in the Kyrie's, it's just overall a lot of padding in this entire area in the ankle area, right? So as far as like plushness goes, the Kyrie's definitely feel a lot more plush here in the back of the heel. And then in the Hardens, you just feel the Achilles pillows, which I guess does feel nice. So it's a little bit different of a feeling. The Kyrie's are a lot more soft and minimal here in the forefoot and get super cozy here in the heel. And then the Hardens pretty much stay like consistent, I would say. Like the material stiffness and thickness stays pretty consistent, and the ankle area doesn't feel like too cozy or too plush. So it all depends on what you like. In my opinion, I like the Kyrie's a little bit better, but like I said, if you want a little bit more support, go with the Hardens. As far as the fit goes, I would say, for me personally, the Kyrie's fit me a little bit better. I went true to size for both of the shoes, and the Hardens run a little bit long. So if you want a super snug fit, maybe go down half a size. But for me, I was okay going true to size. I didn't really mind the like little extra length there was, but also the Hardens do run a little wide, especially comparing it to the Kyrie's. As far as the toe space goes, I would say the Kyrie's and the Hardens feel a little bit similar, but overall the Kyrie's fit me a little bit better. Alright, as far as the support and lockdown goes, I had no issues with either of the shoes, right? So for lateral containment, like as you guys can see in here in the Kyrie's, in the forefoot, you're going to be good to go. Here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter. So for lateral containment, Kyrie's are good. Here in the Hardens, you have a lot of caging. Look at that. And like I said, the material is very, very supportive. So lateral containment, you're going to be good to go as well. Lateral stability though, I feel like, ooh, that's actually pretty surprising. The Kyrie's are around the same as the Hardens. Wow. I thought the Hardens might be a little bit like wider, but they're not. Usually Adidas makes super wide shoes, but lateral stability, I was good to go in both of the shoes. And for ankle support, the Hardens of course are a low top, and Kyrie's are a mid top, but they don't really offer a whole lot of ankle support. So as far as overall support and lockdown goes, I had no issues, but like I said, if you want a little bit more support from the materials, probably go with the Hardens. Alright, as far as the weight goes, yeah, the Hardens are freaking heavy. I think these are like 15 ounces. Yeah, 15.13 ounces, so super freaking heavy. And then the Kyrie's are like 12 point something, 12.1 ounces. Yeah, so obviously if you're looking for the lighter and more minimal feeling shoe, go with the Kyrie's. If you want the more responsive shoe, I would say they're both responsive, but the Hardens feel a little bit more responsive just because the cushion is a little bit more responsive due to the fact that there is no forefoot zoom unit. I mean, this forefoot zoom unit is still responsive, but you have that compression, so you do lose a little bit of responsiveness from that. And also the traction is a little bit better in the Hardens. So it does feel a little bit more responsive here in the Hardens, but as far as the overall feel, like weight and minimal feel, the Kyrie's are better. All right, moving on to the aesthetics. I don't know, guys. I like both. I'd actually say I like the Kyrie 8 a little bit more. The Kyrie 8 definitely grew on me. The Harden still look pretty damn nice. I would say though, I like the Harden Volume 1 a lot better, which the Harden Volume 6 reminds me a lot of the Harden Volume 1 as far as performance goes. But anyways, I would say I would lean towards the Kyrie 8 a little bit. Tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up. So overall feeling, they're kind of different, right? The cushioning setup, I mean, forefoot cushion, Kyrie, heel cushion, Harden. They both have very nice traction, although the Harden's a little bit better. But the overall material and the upper feels pretty damn different too. Like I said, it's more supportive and stiffer here in the Hardens. Here in the Kyrie's, it's a lot softer. The Kyrie's are also a lot lighter. The Harden's a little bit more heavy. So it's a different feeling shoe. They're both super nice. But what would I pick to play in? Oh, I don't know, guys. They're both really, really nice. I would actually say I like the Hardens a little bit better. Like if I was to pick a shoe to play in a little bit more, I would pick the Hardens just because the traction is a little bit better. I like the overall like responsiveness of the cushion as well. The Kyrie's, Like, I don't like to play in full-length Zoom Strobel or like the 4-foot Zoom Strobel like every single day. You know what I mean? I would rather play in more of a like a responsive feeling cushioning setup, just in my personal opinion. And I don't really mind the heavier weight either in the Hardens, you know, just because it is a very responsive shoe as well. So in my personal opinion, I would say the Harden Volume 6 is a little bit better. Of course, I really do like the Kyrie 8 still. I would probably just pick the Harden Volume 6 like 7 times out of 10 versus the Kyrie 8. So anyways, that about concludes this versus video. Again, that does not mean the Kyrie 8s are bad. They're still super nice. It's just that I like the Hardens a little bit more. But anyways, that about wraps it up. Again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll try to leave an affiliate link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.